Things were very quiet for a Tuesday morning at schools across Saskatchewan. These schoolyards, usually full of kids, were empty as their teachers took part in a one-day strike. But it was a different story outside the legislature in Regina and outside malls in Saskatoon, which were just some of the 40 locations in the province where educators were picketing, 13,000 of them on strike.
This was to tell the government we're serious, consider it a warning shot, but everything's on the table.
Negotiations between the Saskatchewan Teachers Federation and the government have been stalled over several months. In December, discussions ended at an impasse. Teachers want the government to address issues around classroom complexity and sizes.
They want to minimize these negotiations down to one issue around salary, and that is a complete misrepresentation about the facts at the table. We are fighting for supports around students' learning conditions.
But the government says it's not willing to negotiate class sizes at the table. It says it's something that school boards can decide for themselves, and today's job action didn't change that position.
We think school divisions are best positioned to manage that, and again, we're going to continue working with school divisions to support them in that. You know, the union's request is basically to take that away from locally elected school boards, which we don't believe is in the best interest of education.
But teachers disagree and point to examples.
This is something that can be bargained. The conciliator said it can be bargained, and we have seen it bargained across the country and other provincial organizations as well.
For months, teachers and supporters have been vocal about the state of education in Saskatchewan. They say students aren't getting what they need, let alone deserve.
Where are the next nurses and doctors going to come from if this government won't fund education?
We have students with learning needs that aren't being met. We have students with behavioral needs that aren't being met. Students are at an all-time high for anxiety since COVID, and we don't have the resources to deal with it.
Both sides are hopeful an agreement is reached soon, but no bargaining is planned. The STF says they don't have plans for another strike at this time, but other job action, like work to rule, which means things like no extracurricular support, is on the table. Tariq Reed, CBC News, Regina.